Welcome to Paintabilities with Shelly James. Today I'm going to share with you how to create a painting from a photograph of a Labyrinth Dahlia. Take a look at this dahlia. It's enormous. It's got tons of petals going every which way, and they have curls and twists, and then a very dark, dramatic center in a dark magenta color. So we're ready to start looking at how to create this painting, and I just want to share with you how I did the sketch from the photograph. Okay, so if you watch some of my previous lessons on paintabilities, I share with you that you take the photograph, you create a sketch, and it's important to create the sketch and not just trace the picture, so that you get a feel for how the petals flow, in this case, looking at a flower. Okay, so looking at this is a 10 by 10 wrapped canvas. It's actually like a 1.75 inch wrapped canvas. Okay, and these dahlias are very big, and I wanted this to be a bold statement painting, so it's just the dahlia on here. Now notice that the center is right here based on the picture, right? We have then a petal coming forward. So we're looking at it from the side. You've got about 1/3 of the painting from the center to the top is the flower center, and looking at the back. And then below that is about 2/3 of all the petals falling forward. So it's 1/3 this high and then 2/3 that low below the center. Okay, so just keeping in mind that we're not looking at a flower that's facing you where the center is right in the middle. It's the center is in the top third of the flower. All right, and so I took a watercolor pencil to do this sketch instead of a standard graphite pencil. And the reason I did that, this is a pink watercolor pencil, and so I sketched all of the petals using that, just to get the shape of my flower. Am I going to do exactly where these petals go? Maybe, maybe not. But what's nice about using a similarly colored watercolor pencil is when you start stroking and you're using maybe some transparent colors like pinks and yellows, you won't see that graphite line through your paint. Okay, so it's a really nice technique to use if you have access to some watercolor pencils in different colors. And I like to keep those handy, so I've got greens and reds and blues and pinks, etc. Even some yellows and browns. So it's a nice way to do your sketch, and it's still erasable because it's water soluble. Okay, now the brushes that I'm going to be using for this painting are some specialty brushes. These are called Trio Wedge brushes, and they're available on a site called colorsforearth.com. All spelled out, all one word, no spaces. colorsforearth.com. And I will put the link in the description, video description below here, so you can click on that and go pick those up if you would like to get them. Now what I have here is what she was originally carrying, and now she has a full set of 5, and so they have purple handles. You're not going to see these blue and silver handled ones there, but you're going to see these beautiful short purple handled ones, and they come in 5 sizes from 2 up to 10. Okay, and so what I'm working with today is sizes 10 and 6. All right, so a 6 I'm going to use for the center and some of the smaller petals, and the 10 I'm going to use for the big petals. Now what's unique about these brushes, can you see it's tri-wedge, so it's a triangular shaped brush from the ferrule shape. All right, and then if you look at it this way, it's got a wedge, so it goes from shorter to longer to a point right here. So you get some beautiful strokes with some very nice liner ends on them. I'm going to get this damp again so you can see. It looks kind of like a fountain pen. See that? And so the tip of the brush will give you nice pretty tips, and your flat of the brush is going to give you a nice wide stroke. So both of these brushes are shaped that way. Okay. And if you look at this one, let me get that damp also, then you can see, there we go. So you have to kind of look at the brush to see where is the toe and where is the heel. So if I pull the bristles back like this, then you'll see this is the toe and this is the heel down here, okay? So we're going to be using those brushes. By all means, you could use a flat brush, but I feel like I'm going to get some really pretty results, especially with the tips on these. Something better than I could get with a flat brush and a script liner. But if you don't have access to these brushes and you want to give this a try, you certainly could use, this is a 16 flat and a Donna Dewberry FolkArt one stroke signature series brush collection, or her regular green handle brushes, 16 flat, and then use an 8 flat for the center strokes. Okay. All right, so let's get going. I want to first share with you how to create some of these petal strokes using these brushes. And I'm working with Plaid FolkArt multi-surface paints and floating medium today. All right, so I'm going to be putting those out on my silicone palette right here. I'm going to share with you how to get a peachy color from using the yellow. There's no yellow per se in this flower. So I'm going to share with you how to get that kind of peachy color that you saw in the photograph in the insides of the petals. Notice the petals, they have a very light, pretty peachy white inside and then a more vibrant bright pink outside. So I'm going to be using the bright pink with a little magenta to get that color tone, and we're going to have fun using these new brushes. Okay, so let's put out some of these colors and we will get started. I'll share with you how to use these brushes and get these strokes. So I have, let's put some magenta out. Put some right there. And I've got some fire coral. You could use pink melon or fire coral. Put that right there. I'm not putting them next to each other because we're not going to double load necessarily the way I normally would with one stroke painting. Okay. And then I'm going to put some daffodil yellow right there just to work with blending into that peach color. Then we have some bright pink, all right? Not neon pink, this is bright pink. And it looks wonderful when you add it to your paintings. It's a nice, bright, vibrant color. And then of course we need a little bit of wicker white because we're working with some more transparent colors, so we want some white to help us get more opaque. And then I have the floating medium here in a little cubby so that it doesn't run down, because I have my palette and my painting board here at an angle. Okay. All right, so let's pick up our big brush. This is the number 10 Golden Taklon Trio Wedge, and I'm going to pick up kind of like how you would load a round brush. So I'm going to load it with my base color, and then I'm going to pick up my accent color on the tip. All right. So let's get our base color is going to be the inside of our petal. So I'm going to go ahead and load with this fire coral. All right. I'm going to go ahead and flip my brush on all 3 sides and get all that color worked into my brush, a good amount. All right. And then I'm going to come and side stroke next to the magenta. See that? So I have it on one side. All right. And I'm going to side stroke the other side next to some white. All right. So see how we can load that with 2, 3 colors and you don't have them touching each other. So we're going to get some interesting looks here. All right, so creating this petal, you can start from the outside and work your way into the center. So if this is the center of my flower right here, I'm going to take my tip of my brush, I'm going to touch it down, I'm going to push to spread out and lift as I stroke and come in with a little bit of a twist into the center of my flower. See that? And see how I got all those pretty streaks of color? So I've got light and dark, right? So let me come pick up some more of the fire coral, side stroke some pink, magenta, side stroke some white. And the other thing you can do is you can come from the center, push out, and stand up with a little twist and give you a really pretty tip on that petal. All right, so we've got some options here on how to get some pretty looks. So let me come in back here and get some of those colors. And then if I wanted a 2-sided petal, here push and then roll it And now you've got layers. So you've got the inside, you've got this brightly colored outside, and then you've got this folded over edge. So it looks really pretty. Now let's come and get some of our darker magenta color on that brush. So we're going to work that into the brush there. And then I'm going to get a little bit of this daffodil yellow, all right? And then I'm going to work all that color together to get a peachy color. So let's get that and some magenta and the yellow. And look at that pretty peach color. Now we're going to get a touch of white. Let's brighten it up a little bit. White and yellow. So brush mixing that here on my palette. And then I'm going to come side stroke some magenta. All right. So here, let's come from the center. We're going to push, slide, and stand up. Side stroke a little more of that magenta. And we're going to come from the same spot, push, slide. I'm going to roll the brush in my fingers and come down. Look at that pretty petal. All right, so we've got some really nice options to get these colors to look pretty. Let's get a little bit brighter white now. Work that into our brush on the flat side of the brush, and I'm going to come right in the center of this, push down, stand up, and now we've got a really pretty inside. All right, so that's how you work that brush. Now, let's look at the smaller brush. I'm going to come in with this, and I'm going to load with all magenta. Okay, and then let's side stroke a little bit of this bright pink. And so to put our center in for the flower, we're going to come right up here and push down, stand it up. Look at how pretty that is. So magenta, bright pink, push, stand it up, and tip down to the center. These are really fun brushes to work with. I'm so excited to have them. So laying that in there now, I want to brighten that up just a little bit. I'm going to come and pick up some of that fire coral. And now we've got a little bit of a lighter layer. Let's pick up all bright pink. Come over that, some magenta. Here and here. And a little bit of white. So just streaking through some pretty colors, and that gives you a really gorgeous center. There we go. Pick up bright pink. All right, so that's the mechanics of working with these brushes. You want the bottom here is the flat of the brush. You start at the tip, you push down to spread it out, stand it back up, and you can give a little twist to get a pretty little end on that. Okay, and you can go into the center of the flower, or you can come out from the center of the flower with a pretty flourish there. Okay, all right, so let's get to our painting. Okay, so I'm going to surround this once I'm done with black, so that really helps this pop out. I may even do a gray, I'm not positive yet. But I'm going to come back to my large brush here, and now I'm going to get some medium, some floating medium. I'm going to dip into that, and I'm going to come and work that into my brush. And I've got this fire coral, and I want a little more medium. Okay, and I'm looking at my photo image for reference. Let's get a little yellow and work that in for a peachier tone, and then a touch of white. There we go. Okay, so let's come out here, and we're going to do these petals that are in the background. So I'm going to touch up at the top, push down, stand, and twist into the center. Okay, now that's pretty flat. I want to go ahead and pick up just a touch of no, I don't want white. a touch of magenta just on the toe of this brush. And let's restroke that. We're going to come here, we're going to push, and ooh, look at those pretty streaks of color. Isn't that nice? All right, let's get a little more of our medium blend here, touch into some pink, and right back here we're going to push and stand up. And that's what I wanted to see. Let's get a little more white. Work that in. Lighten that up, and then we'll do the one in the middle. There we go. And that's going to give us a nice layer of petals in the background. Okay, a little more white, work that in, a little more white, work that in, get some medium, touch into some white, and we're going to come here and push and stand up. And then I'm going to come side stroke some magenta, and we're going to come here and push and stand up. And that's how we get that rolled over look there. Okay, and we've got layers of petals happening here, so there's lots going on. So I'm going to proceed to fill this in the back. Let's get a little bit of yellow and some medium, and side stroke some of that magenta. We'll come right in here, push, stand up, get a little side load of white, and now I'm going to come from the inside. And we're going to touch on the toe, push down as we stroke out, give the brush a little twist, and come out to the tip. Now I've side stroked a little bit of white on one side, a little bit of magenta on the, oops, on the other. And I'm going to come right in front of that, and we're going to stand up there. A little white on that tip, touch there, and come back to that edge. See how we've got that rolled over now? I have to tell you, I'm having lots of fun. So I'm just going to continue playing with this. We're going to stand it up there. Pick up some colors, side load the magenta, come in here again. I'm going to start midway, roll the brush, bring that through. Now that didn't bring all that pink through the way I wanted it to, so let's try that again. There we go. Okay, so I'm working my way around. Let's get some more white on here and some medium. And we're going to come from here. I'm going to turn my canvas because it'll be easier for me to stroke this. All right, so come out here, push, stand up, give a little twist, and a tip. Now, when I do my black background, if I'm not happy with that tip, I just can fix it, and that's easy. Let's get our fire coral and some bright pink here. We're going to come right in here and push and stand up. Everything comes back towards that center, okay? Side load a little bit of white. And let's put the white on the top edge here. We're going to come through here and give a little twist and stand up. Then I'm going to come side stroke some of that magenta, come out to the tip, push, and stand up. So pretty streaks of colors. All right, and I'm going to continue on until I get to where I want to have my center come in here. Let's get some white, and there. Now, if you're running dry when you get to that point, just add a little bit of medium to that brush and you can restroke it. Let's come get some of that peachy color again, magenta and yellow. little bit of white. Side stroke a little magenta. There. I'm going to come get strong white now. And you know what, before I go too far on the inside, let's get these here. So we can push real hard right there and stand it up. There we go. Right there. See how fun that is? Okay, come back to the white with the fire coral. Then you can come in here. Now what's important here is that it stands out against the ones that are in the background. So you've either got to have brighter white or darker pink. Okay, so I think in this case I need the darker pink. There we go. Okay, this one, and I'm going to come get some of this bright pink, and we're going to come right in here, and we're going to pull that through. Now, I want a tip on that shows, so I'm going to come get some magenta, and I'm going to come back to that point and lay it in there, just like that. Okay. So I'm going to start adding more white to this because the petals in the foreground are a lot lighter. So I'm just working white into the blend on my brush, get some medium, work that in, a little bit of that fire coral. There we go, and then side stroke your dark pink, push, and get that rolled edge. Okay, now what I want to do at this point is start adding in my center before I get too carried away here. And then we can start adding all the petals below. So I'm just going to set that brush aside and come to my smaller trio wedge. I gotta say this right, trio wedge here. We're going to load it with magenta. And then I'm going to come and side stroke some of that bright pink. And so this is going to come way up here. We're going to touch, then push, stand up, bring it to the bottom, bring it to the center. All right, center's right here. So more magenta, side stroke that pink, maybe a little bit stronger pink. All right, so these are all kind of sprayed out in the back, push and lift. Let's get some of that brighter pink, bright pink. There we go. Bright pink, push and lift, magenta. All right, so right up in the middle here, push, pull down, touch, push, pull down. Okay, so now let's get one more bright pink right out here and pull that in right there. So now I have kind of the background for my center, and then I'm going to come in with some more of this bright pink. There, magenta, tip into bright pink. That's going to give you a bright pink tip and then a dark bottom. So you're seeing layers, okay? I want to continue to kind of fill this in, but still see individuals. Now, what I want to add to this that's going to help these kind of stand out individually is I have a little bit of violet pansy here. All right, so we're just going to put a tiny bit of that out because I need a little dark. There isn't enough dark in there. So let's come and side stroke a little bit of this violet pansy, and we're going to come right in here. Ooh, that's pretty. There we go. Now, having that, we'll be able to see our brighter items showing up in front of it. So tip, stroke, push down, stand up to the point. All right, now I'm going to wipe off that purple, come back and get my magenta and tip into the bright pink. Okay, and we're going to come in front, oops, push, lift, stand. Okay, just to get some layers on that center. You can also pull out and then come and get a little bit of that purple on the tip and pull some dark stripes in there. So you get a really pretty center. There we go. Okay, so there's the center, and then we're ready to start completing the remainder of this flower. So I'm going to come back to my big brush. We're going to get the base color here. Let's get some medium, get that thinned out, and get some white. And we're going to come from here. Oops, not enough white. There we go. More white. All right, so what I want to do at this point is continue filling in the foreground of this. So we want to come, let's turn this upside down. Okay, and we're going to come from out here. You're going to touch, push, and stand up. You're just going to come up into the inside of the flower. You don't have to come all the way to the center, but just make sure that your strokes end pointing to the center. Okay, so more white. There we go. Here. Now with this one, I'm going to come and let's put the magenta on this side. We're going to come right in here and push and stand up. And then right in here and push and stand up. There. And then magenta on that side, we're going to push. So now you've got a two-sided. Then I'm going to come get all white, come right in the middle, like I showed you in the demonstration. I got a few little bubbles right there. There we go. Okay, get white, come through here, and then I'm going to get magenta on the left side, same tip, push to the left, stand up. Now I lost a little bit of my undercolor here, so let's get, there we go. So if you don't like it, just restroke it. Get some peach color here and some white. Medium, a little more white. And then tip into white, and we're going to come right through here, push towards the center. Push towards that. Okay, so I'm going to continue to finish out this flower, and then when I come back, I will show you the finished project. So here you can see I've completed all the petal strokes, and I'm starting to black in the background, and I wanted you to see before I completed that the difference this makes in how the flower petals show up, how they pop, and also gives you opportunity to go in and do some blending and some shade, not blending, but some shading with a little bit darker color. So I'm going to share with you how I would do that. So I'm going to take, I've got a 16 flat here. I'm going to load it with some clean floating medium, and I'm going to come and side stroke. Let's pick up just a little of this magenta here, and I'm going to come side load this magenta. Let's get a little more of that medium. And so I'm working that magenta into one side of my brush, so that it works its way across the brush into and fades away to nothing. Okay, so what you would do now is you can come in between these petals. Let's say, for example, right here where I want this to kind of show up. So I can come with that dark pink color and on the flat of the brush, so you're making pressure, and you're going to follow the edge of that petal and stand up. And see how that really pops that out? All right, so you can do that in a few places, like right here, but you want to make sure that the paint is completely dry before you do that. And if you get a little too heavy, push it over, push, shove, 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 and then bring that through. There we go. Now if I go over something that I didn't want to, then I can take a clean brush with some clean water, right? And let's say, for example, this tip right here, I didn't want to go over that tip, so I can bring that right back out and still have that shading underneath. Okay, so an important part to shade is, let's get a little more medium here, is the center. All right, so you want to come underneath the center here and come in with that dark color. As those come forward, help those pop out a little more. All right, right in there, and then you can come behind it here and go around some of these pieces, and that will help those to stand out as well. So you'll see in the final picture all the shading that I did do and how I brought some of these together, so you can come in and get a little of the purple even on that blend on that brush, and come in between some of these center pieces as well. Right in there. Oops, 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 didn't want to do that. So we come in with a clean damp brush, and you can take that right back out again. So little mistake there, but it's wonderful with this multi-surface paint because it will come right off from the what's dried underneath. There we go. All right, and then the other thing I wanted to show you is you can actually float in some highlights. All right, so if I clean that brush and I come get clean medium here and load, and then let's get some clean white that's not dry. And my fan going so it's drying up a little bit. So side loading that white just like I did with the pink, I can come, like say, for right in here, and I can float a little highlight along the edge of that. If I want to get a little stronger, just get a little more white, a little heavier on the brush. There we go. And help that stand out. Okay, you can, with that medium in there, it also makes a nice wash to go over some of these to maybe tone them down a little bit. And also you can stand up and get a pretty tip right there against that black background. But the black background has to be dry as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this up with the black and the shading, and you will see at the end of this video what the finished project looks like. And I hope you take the time to try and create this painting and share it with me. I'd love to see how you do and what questions you have. And don't forget to pick up those trio wedges from colorsforearth.com. There's a link underneath the video here. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.